Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of your Daily Dose. I'm your host, PB, and we have another episode on the free to play account, of course, Pirate Emperor. Now, before we get into it, full disclaimer, I think they might be going through a little bit of a technical difficulty. I have been DM'd and pinged many times, and of course, in the comment section down below, saying people can't access the game on iOS or Android. I think that will be back or rectified in the next few days, so stay tuned and probably join the official Discord. If you want that, I will send through that link in the comment section as well for this video. We're just waiting to see, and of course there are some inconveniences for those that are trying to pay. Once you get the game removed from Google, it's not so great when you try to purchase through Google Shops. It's not going to work, so just be aware that you're going to get lots of compensation if you're a free-to-play player, and if you're a spender, probably go through PayPal. Anyway, that's your public service announcement out of the way. Jumping into the video, we actually are on day number 7. If you don't believe me, here you go. Day 7. Day 7, 99 completions. Can't get all of them. I can't get all of them, and the reason being is they're a little bit outside of my scope. I had to have been in a guild a little bit earlier, so think of this as where should you be at day 7, cautionary tale, hint hint. You should probably try to get into a guild as soon as possible. That does mean that you don't need to spend to do it, you just need to be active, make sure you're leveling up your character, make sure you're meeting the battle power requirements. I'm going to sort of more, I think, holistically explain it, because this is going to be a little bit of a gamble video, a bit of a power-up, a little bit of an explanation, and some visual cues to explain you through the steps. However, we missed that one. I think we missed, where is it? We haven't got 2 6 stars just yet. These are pretty, like, I feel like these are very, very generous in terms of what they give you. But let's just be mindful. If you want to complete all of this, you kind of need to know a little bit of the understanding of the game. Now, of course, it's almost nigh impossible to reach level 55 by this stage if you've already missed kind of a day. And it happens depending on where you transition. So if you want to start a new server early, if I can say it properly, try to get in there when it just opens up. You have to keep refreshing the game and looking for it. Maybe keep an eye out there every couple of days. But when you do, that's pretty much how you're going to maximize your player level. Now, the other hint that I would give you, because a lot of people ask me, how do you get so high? Make sure you're doing your raids every single day. You will need to spend some gems, but that's absolutely a-okay. It is fundamentally worthwhile spending the gems on it. However, look, there are a couple of components to the game that you might find a little bit more frustrating. I will say this. I like a bit of a challenge, but I don't realistically like spending a lot of gold. So I'm going to have to find a cheap way for me to get through this. What is that? That's not cheap. Oh, half price pack. Do I want to spend the 500 gold? So if you don't know, if you can't complete whatever this may be, you can actually get some additional completions by spending a little bit of gold on these reward packs. I probably would recommend maybe going for the ones that are a little bit reasonably priced. Do I need the XP? Let's be honest. How much EXP do I have? Let's go into the bag. Let's go into... Where's my EXP counter? Yeah, let's go into the hero. How much EXP does a man have? Wow, it's not even going to let me have a look. If I wanted to upgrade you 5 levels... 2.3 million. I should have just looked at the top. So 2.3 million doesn't really make sense for me to spend 500k gold for EXP, right? Or 500 gold for 50k XP. That really doesn't sound like a good deal. What I want to do though is maybe I'll just get the 4 of those. Maybe I get the 4 of those, come back to it. Yeah, let's just do that. So we grabbed the 4 of those, and, value-wise, it's not that great, but hey, we needed it to complete this one, so hopefully you all do better. Let me know in the comment section down below if you managed to complete level 100. But if you aren't able to complete any of them, you can spend some gems, as you just saw, as long as it doesn't say VIP 1 requirement, and you will be able to get at least 3,000 back. Plus, we got 5 of these summons, and we get, of course, 10 lucky scrolls. So, all in all, I don't mind spending 500 gems to get 3k back. You know, it's not terrible. It's not terrible. It's not fantastic, but it's not terrible. All right, moving on. I guess we could probably talk a little bit about this. Now, I do have one more day to go before we do get the boss lady, old mate Granny Pants over here. She's a phenomenal healer. So, if you do have the opportunity to use her and you would be thinking about building a marine hero, I would probably say she's the best pick because you do get a free copy of her. I did get a comment in one of the other videos why I would recommend not, say, building Shanks or particularly a hero from the Marines or Emperors. They said that there was easy to get copies of them, but at the same time, it's not as easy as you would think it is, because the process of building a 10-star hero, and if you want to check out their 10-star form, go to the Almanac and go down to the very bottom. You can search through like thus. But to get the 10-star hero, you actually need 5 copies. And as far as I can tell, you can only get 1 copy of Shanks from this section over here. Now, you could refresh it from the hero section, but you would need 5k to reset it, and 5k is what Shanks costs. So maybe, I mean, look, if you're a committed free-to-play player, you could go down the route of getting Shanks. If you are lucky like me or misfortunate like me, and you do get an Emperor or a Marine hero that doesn't fall within the scope of those shops, you can, of course, spend a little bit of your other resources to get it, which we'll cover in a second. However, it's not necessarily, oh, I get a lot of copies, and you will get copies. Don't get me wrong. Like, you'll get a lot of the 5 stars. You'll build a lot of 5 stars in the Marines and the Emperors. It's not uncommon. The main thing that's going to hold you back is getting these. So another thing that I guess, well, you know what, we're just going to delve into it because I'm in a bit of a roll for that one. The main thing is the drop rates. So the drop rates are very, very low for certain heroes, and the pool itself is pretty expensive because it's combined. So for instance, if I spent 10 of these scrolls, chances are I am going to get myself a old mate smoker. I'm going to get a Lucy, and I'm going to get a Blackbeard, and I'm most likely going to get myself a Shuyu. And that's pretty much the way the cookie crumbles. Any of these other drops are really, really, really rare. I would not bank on them, and the reality is you're probably going to get a lot of these shards, and you need to pull quite a lot in order to build those 5 stars. Another reality is you're going to get a lot of these 4-star shards, and you're going to get some food. However, that's where it sort of ends. You can't swap. You can't convert a Marine or Emperor hero. You can only do the current 3 factions. I know there'll be another faction coming out, and we'll cover that Wano Country faction later on. When that goes live, of course, check out the Big Daddy accounts for that one. But as you can see, you can't actually swap. So, for instance, if I wanted to, say, get myself potentially another Kuma copy, where is he? Where I actually have Kuma, so I know what I need. I will try to swap out a Crocodile for him. It's going to cost me 100 of these exchange rates. The chances of me getting Kuma, pretty low. Unfortunately, you're going to have to gamble a lot to try and get at least 1 copy of that. But you do have the opportunity, right? You can swap for the non-elitish type of heroes, such as the Marines or Emperors. We might as well just take a copy of you anyway. We've already spent the resources, or use that as an educational feature. So the only way in reality, if I go back here, is to essentially use these flame souls or fire souls, whatever you want to call them. And then if you have a look, it's 45 minimum for a Blackbeard. It's 45 minimum for pretty much anything up to the elites, which is Katakura and Kaido. Essentially speaking, you got to do 45 of these pulls to even get one copy of Shanks. Now, I'm not saying that that's impossible, but if you factor that in with, say, building Old Mate Granny as well, that's a minimum 90 to go up one level to a 6-star. And then when you get to 6-star, you then need to get 4 more copies of Marines or 4 more copies of Emperors to go to 7-star. From 7-star to 8-star, it will cost you, and I can show you because, I mean, it's a visual game. So let's have a look. So 4 copies of a hero in that faction to go to 7-star. Then to go to 8-star, it is a 6-star from that faction, and 3 copies to go to 9-star. It is the hero itself, so a copy of Bellamy, for example, another 6-star, and then it is 2 more of that hero from that faction. So you kind of get the picture where it leans into, it's very hard to build the 6-star food. It's hard to build the 6-star food. Even if you smash that out, it is very hard to get the copies because you are essentially using all of your flame souls for that. Now, thankfully, Granny is available in other game shop scenarios, so I'm very grateful about that, including, of course, Law is as well, but they are limited to a little bit later on, and they shouldn't necessarily be your focal point as you begin the game. So, hopefully that answers a little bit of your question about why you should or shouldn't go for a Marine. Count the costs, because at the end of the day, if you really are wanting to do either a Shanks, then I would probably recommend running a 4-1 split. So your team composition should probably be 4 of a faction that you want to run, or a rainbow. So rainbow is pretty common. Rainbow is very common. So 1 of each faction, you can run a rainbow. But it's going to take you a while. Regardless of which formation you do run, it's going to take you a little while to get those Marines and Emperors, just because it's not as accessible as any other hero in the game. So hopefully that explains it. Now, when we're talking a little bit about upgrading, I will get to that when I do the next section here. But what I wanted to do first was I wanted to do a couple of pulls. So I need to do some pulls. I am going to go for this guy. Again, wouldn't really recommend going for a Marine hero, but I'm going to do it because it's a free-to-play account, and I like to just demonstrate, if that makes sense. So this guy happens to be on the pool, and it's 31 until I get the guaranteed. Let's see if we get lucky, though. It would be great to get him before that, I'm not going to lie. Oh, we got another Barry copy. We got a Zuzu. All right, fair enough. So we're going to do some solo pulls. Maybe we get lucky again. No joy. And then essentially we're going to have to spend gold. Gems. We're going to have to spend 4k gems to get a copy of him. It is what it is. Oh, we got another elite. Okay, interesting. Okay, Wiper. Not bad. So then, last but not least, we will, of course, get the guaranteed hero just here. Oh, we actually got Lucy too. Very cool. We got Lucy. We got New World Zorro. Okay, I can live with that. Honestly, 4k gems. We got 3k from the other one. It is what it is, right? Is it always a good investment? It really just comes down to how lucky you are, and of course, it's just luck. I wouldn't even say at this point it's a skill-based thing. It really does come down to luck for the copies that you will get. But if you can find a way to get a guaranteed copy, for instance, if you manage to pull Old Mate over here, if you wanted to build Luffy, you could have built Luffy. If you want to build Rimuru, I don't know what his name is. I was going to call him Rimuru, or Kid. You could have done that, right? You could have gone there. You could have gone through the process. It is 150 draws. Pretty expensive. You wouldn't need to spend gems or I think you wouldn't need to, from the maths that I did, I think I spent around 8k gems to get this. So at least I needed about 40. But we did get some bonuses this time around because of all the recharge issues. So I'm sad, but not sad at the same time. So we did get actually some bonuses as compensation. Anyway, they basically set us up for a win, so we're gonna take that as a W. Also, for those that are curious, we did actually unlock this, so we are going to get pretty much a selection chest for a 6-star, which I will be saving for a little bit later on, just because I don't want to get ahead of myself too much. But let's just jump into it. So, for those that are a little bit visual in terms of their learning, when we go to actually make the 6 stars, it is important to note that you essentially are going to be throwing away some elite copies. It's going to hurt. Sometimes when you go to build one of these, you just got to realize you got to be super focused. You're going to be like, all I need to do is just feed the food in there and not worry about it. As a free to play, you don't really have the luxury of holding on to every copy that you get. Even if you'd like got a Shanks there, you have to decide, like, am I going to build Zorro or am I going to build Shanks? Because I got Zorro copies and I don't have Shanks. Like, it is one of those things you have to decide. However, we are going to go ahead and shut up and build this guy. He's actually really good. I quite enjoy playing with him. I haven't built him before on any of the other accounts. Wouldn't say that he's a beast, but he holds his own. He holds his own. Anyway, so when you go into it, obviously you've got these resources up here. Now, a lot of players are asking, so how do we get like the gold? How do we get the EXP? Honestly, the best way is to challenge your boss and make sure that you're constantly keeping up with the maximum tier. You'll want to be pushing here and grabbing the gear. Eventually, you're going to, obviously outuse those gears. It's fine. It happens. But at the same time, you also want to be doing impel down. You want to be pushing impel down as much as you can, as well as preparing for the expedition that unlocks at level 50. Once you get to level 50, you'll be able to buy ascension cards for 2.5 million. So those that don't know, these are the ascension cards. You'll need them to upgrade your heroes up in terms of star. And on top of that, you'll be able to get some additional food. Now, the big thing that a lot of people overlook is the great value package on the left. I'll show you again. It's over here where I'm tapping on the screen. To the right, and you will actually be able to buy some of your resources here. It will cost you gems, but in the end, it is actually worthwhile purchasing, particularly if you are struggling with content and you need to get all of your heroes to level 100 to unlock the additional slot so that you can basically stick them in. We'll throw that on you. Why not? Okay, so we have this guy. We unlock that. We're gonna use all of this. So to upgrade him, so you upgrade his rank to 6-star, and then you need to also invest gold and ascension cards so that you unlock his next ability. And then you get a little bit of a power up, so it's 1.4, and then after that it's just holding down the button. Nothing exciting here, but it is what it is, right? So you eventually run out and you'll be like, oh, okay, PB, how do I get it? Pretty much the short answer is you either wait or you spend some gems. I'm going to spend some gems. I'm going to spend at least 300 gems on this, so that gives me there. I'm going to buy some extra gold as well, because why not? And that's realistically the whole entire process is just juggling. So you won't be able to max them out unless you've been hoarding and hoarding and hoarding. But eventually you'll be able to level up all of your heroes. We did get to 1.55. Which isn't bad. Now, I've held off. I've held off doing the Hucky because I didn't want to, or Huckeye, because I didn't really want to do it for Bellamy, not going to lie. I just, it's Bellamy, right? He's going to be food later on. But I feel like at this stage, we could probably discuss a little bit about what works. It's important when you pick this to go in and look at a couple of things on the screen. First, what is your class? Is it a fighter? Is it a mage? Is it a mage or a magician? Is it a tank? Is it a support? And that kind of leads you into the recommended Huckeye. Another thing you want to look at is what does your hero stack with. So for this one, he does physical damage with all enemies and a 60% chance to inflict bleed. Bleed is essentially 10% of the caster's attack. So we know he's very much attack orientated, and that will increase his bleed potential. This also has a crit up, so he does have some nice crit ability. He also does pierce as well, and pierce, if you don't know, lowers the enemy's defense for rounds, and of course increases depending on how much bleed. So bleed seems to be something that this is indicative of. This is his little bit of a passive ability. When a unit dies, grants 1 layer of Black Blade to self, stacks up to 10 times. Gathers the power of Black Blade Supreme. Each layer of Black Blade increases Zoro's skill damage by 20%. This effect is undispellable. So essentially speaking, this guy gets stronger the more, or less, or should I say, the less heroes on the field, the more this guy gets buffed. So if it's a 1v5 team or a 1v1, chances are he's got 200% damage buff when he does his abilities. So with that in mind, what would you believe he would need for his Huckeye? Good thing is, I've already got it equipped here. It is actually going to be physical attack, because this guy does physical attacks. Everything he does is physical attacks. So what we want to do is look for a Hawkeye that looks very similar to this. So in the event that we swap this out, we at least will be able to have a chance, a 20% chance to trigger a combo. And we know what his combo does. So his combo is this one. Ultimate skill basically does an AoE, does additional damage against those that are inflicted with bleed, and essentially cast bleed again. So he will do a double up of this initial attack, called the Great Dragon. So we want to make sure that we look for the Hawkeye for that. But these are some of the other recommended things that you could look for if you are running a standard striker / DPS. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. We can go through it together. This one's interesting. I would recommend trying to roll for this maybe on one of your books, not necessarily going with a Hawkeye. But at the same time, if you do get this, it's not too terrible. When damage exceeds 30% of target's max HP, 20% chance to put them in a stun for 2 rounds. It's actually pretty powerful, not going to lie. Just thing is, it's really better for a burst hero like Fujiro, or something that basically does a lot of single target damage in a big burst. When that actually does trigger, though, it is quite nice to see them get stun locked out, but it will be dispelled because Sluggish... Well, I didn't say it will be dispelled, but it can be dispelled because Sluggish is a dispellable status effect. Keep that in mind. Another thing to look for is when you kill a target, their chance to do a follow-up normal attack is 60%. Now, normal attack's not that strong, but if your normal attack has layers of bleed on it, or it stacks, it's not that bad. Another one is the crit. When landing a crit, you will do an additional 40% damage on a physical attack. That's not bad. Physical attack... Wait. When you're landing a crit, with physical attack, 40% chance to launch another. It's just a normal attack as well. So another good thing is just base stat crit plus damage, and another one is at start of battle you get physical damage plus 2% for 2 rounds. There are a couple of things, but what we're aiming for is this. So let's see if we can actually get it. We're going to go and we're going to see whether or not we got lucky. No, I got greed, which is the stealing. Tranquil, no. I got 3 refreshes for free. I don't know if I really don't know if we're going to be able to get it. It's 3,000, so fingers crossed. I got the magic combo. Can you give me the physical combo, please? Just give me the sword. That's all I'm looking for. Oh, there we go. All right, so we did manage to get the physical combo. Now, if anyone asks me, does this stack with this and this? I can't tell you that. I don't know. I've never play tested it. It could. It might not, though. It might roll twice in a row. If one fails, then the other one might roll again and see whether or not the RNG lands in your favor. I would like to think it happens that way, but I don't think running 2 of the same thing gives it like a 40% chance. Otherwise, that would be pretty broken. But there are ways to test that too. Interesting. Let me know. Well, you probably don't know because you don't play as much. No, I'm just joking. Let me know if you do know if these skills do stack up. But I'm pretty sure it's the strongest skill exceeds the other one, which means we're probably going to have to build this one in a little bit. Now, if you wanted to upgrade that, you need 3 copies and 10,000 of these enhanced training. It is better not to waste too many rolls on the books, because if you would like to recast, you will need to use some of these gym dumbbells. But yeah, it's probably better not to waste too much as a free-to-play. You will eventually get some of those for free, though, as you continue to progress in the game. But be mindful that it is a valuable resource, and it should mainly be used for Hawkeye. Anyway, going into it, let's have a little look to see if we can do some of these. So we're going to fuse some together. For those that don't know, after a certain level, you can actually fuse these together. Now, it's not a guarantee. Sometimes it's worth waiting for a guarantee. Heals 2% of max HP at the start of the round, every round. That's actually not bad. That's not bad. Who else is a physical attack? I don't think I run anyone with physical attacks, do I? I mean, at this point, heals HP. Honestly, I feel like this one, heals HP at the beginning of the round, actually might be better. He's kind of tanky, so the more he gets healed, the better it is. I didn't really luck out with a lot of these things, to be honest. But like I said, it's not really worth re-rolling on the books. It's better just to save those dumbbells. Anyway, moving on in the video. If you haven't already, make sure you pick the skill that best suits you. I'm going for the crit damage and crit increase, which is Ice Stage. If you haven't already checked out, make sure you have a look at our God skill video on the channel. It goes through them in depth with some play testing and examples. Now, one thing that I'll say is, if you're at this point of the journey, 7 days in, hopefully, fingers crossed, you've joined a guild and you've donated every day, because then you'll be entitled for this little box. And this little box goes into here, and then you complete the journey, and then boom, you get a selection chest. Now, it depends on what you are looking to build towards. Me personally, I feel like it would be remiss of me not to go with a Marine Shard. And I'll explain to you a little bit about that. So, the game kind of sets you up. It kind of does, and at the same time, it sets you up, but it doesn't tell you why it sets you up. So on day number 7, you will get this guy, Belinio. Okay? Now, Belinio is actually a little bit more important than you would think. And the reason being he's a little bit more important is because on day number 8, you will get Tsuru, or Granny. We like to call her old mate Granny. Granny Tsunade, right? Little bit of crossover there. But you need old mate Tsuru, and you need old mate Bellino. So, the game is essentially giving you one free copy of Granny and one free copy of her food in order to make her into a 6-star. I just happened to get lucky. I happened to get lucky with one of my pulls, and I managed to get her. So I am going to use her in my team because she's phenomenal. And we're going to talk a little bit about her skill set for those that don't know. She heals all allies and grants wash mark, damage reduction, recovery up, crit rate 15% last 2 rounds. It's actually really, really good because the crit rate is, well, I don't know about you, but the more you crit, the more damage you do. Damage reduction, important. Recovery plus 25%, again, pretty important. And it does last for 2 rounds. It's indispellable as well. This one, pretty stock standard. Perform secret technique to revive one killed ally with HP. Pretty good. If no ally is killed, he'll single target with the lowest HP by 224%. She's really good. And I feel like a lot of people know that, so I would definitely not recommend using her as food. I would recommend using her in your team, especially if you're free to play. Normal attack heals single target with lowest HP by 40% of attack. Another good thing to remember about healers, and I guess this is something that maybe isn't as obvious. If you are running a healer, she is basing her healing ability off 2 things. It is going to be a heal effect, so the additional effect she does when she heals, and it's going to be attack up the top. So the higher her attack, the more she will heal, and the more that she has a healing bonus, obviously, the more that she'll heal on that desired target. 2 things to be important about. So what would you run? You'd want to run her with some pretty decent gear just to keep her alive. I know that sounds obvious, but a lot of people have a tendency to throw the worst gear on the healer. I don't recommend doing that. I don't recommend doing that. Actually, now that I think about it, how close am I to being able to build her tomorrow? It's a 6-star. How close am I? I'm not very close in terms of having enough of the Ascension Stones, but 1, 2, 3, and then I get you. Then I get you tomorrow. So I really only need one more. So logically speaking, I should probably go with the Marine. Now, if I pull this out and then unfortunately manage to somehow magically get another copy of her, that's going to suck. But at the same time, I wouldn't complain. Oh, okay. Here's food. All right. That's a relief. That's a little bit of a relief. So I'm like, don't give me another copy of her. Because then I need to find it. All right. So, if you're not as fortunate as me, though, I'd like to point this out. So, on the last day, if you've been saving up your gemages, you actually should be able to buy this lovely lady. So, if you're only one, say, Marine hero short of a 5-star, to actually level her up, this is actually Food Hero. So I'm actually, I feel like the game indirectly told you to do this, but then didn't spell it out. So hopefully this helps somebody when they're trying to build her up. She's absolutely worth it as a support. I would strongly recommend giving her a go. Now, moving along, is there anything else we need to talk about? I don't realistically think so. We're actually going to do a challenge attempt here. This is also a good check to see whether or not your DPS is reasonable. We're going to do some PvP too. Honestly, Kuma slot 1 works. Any of your DPSs work. I'm going to keep Ghost Girl. I might keep her around for a little bit. I believe she does crit, which is very, very important. So, Ghost Girl is quite nice. I have to say, for a little baby team, I enjoy watching it. I'm starting to slowly appreciate the free to play side of things. It's not the most powerful team in the world, no. RNG does it really does factor into a lot. I'm not gonna lie. It was pretty unique RNG that we actually got New World Zoro, but if we hadn't got New World Zoro, I probably would have gone ahead and pulled for Kid and then used some of the resources in Arena to get Kid. We're also going to talk a little bit about Guild as well. We should probably touch on that, and we can touch on the other skill as well. But for some reason, I keep putting him to sleep, and I think that might actually be Law's ability. I don't think Bellamy has a sleeping ability, right? Pretty sure he doesn't. Pretty sure it's Law. I'm going to check that out in a second. Another thing to sort of touch on and maybe just talk a little bit about is for those that are sort of curious about should you go into Marine or Emperors, you got to be mindful too. Like if you're building a hero or a team lineup like here, where a couple of them are sort of exclusive. For argument's sake, Law is actually a rare elite. Kuma not so much, but he can still be a pain in the backside to get copies of. You're going to be wanting to spend some of those resources, some of those souls gems on those to level them up too. It's really just a competing demand. It's a game of attrition at that point to see who can outlast who in terms of the power ups on the free to play level. Now, in saying that, there are some other events. There's a hero calling card. If you got lucky, you should be able to get a few free goodies by the end of the 23 days. It's not something that you should definitely be striving for as a free to play, but you will get some exclusive stuff along the way. As a pay to win, absolutely. If you're not trying to max this out, you're not playing the game. And that's just an observation. If you're whaling on this game, you definitely are using this as a goal point, and I am certainly using that on my accounts. The goodies that you get from here are phenomenal. Actually, in the end, you actually get a full 10-star copy. You, I think, get two of these. You get like about six-star shards as well as some selection chests. They're pretty good. They're ridiculously good. You can actually get the exclusive ones as well, and they update. So they will update depending on the heroes that are released. So if you don't complete this in 30 days, Zephyr may actually appear in this. So just keep that in mind, and you can just wait to claim this one before the end of the 23 days. Zephyr might actually be included in this bespoke pack. Yes, it's actually quite an interesting thing. So before that, if you didn't already know, when you looked at this, it didn't. I believe it didn't include Orihime. I think was the other one. Yes, I think that was it. I should have took a screenshot to see, but this actually levels up these packs. So keep that in mind. It is worthwhile if you're a whale to pursue that one. Anyway, for those like us who are mere mortals that are only free to play, there is another one. So we're just going to keep doing this. There is another one over here. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Not the ranking. I don't care too much about that. The new server. Where's that shop? Where's the shop? Not there. I swear I had a look at it before. Bounty shop, monthly card. I will find it if that's the last thing I do. It must be in here. Let's just tab across. There we go. I knew there was a bloody shop around here. Okay. Another question that we receive a lot is what should you purchase? Now, the obvious choice for those that, are just starting out the game, grab the 5-star heroes. Ghost Princess is fantastic. Supports, she resurrects, she busts the team, gives them crit. This, I mean, it's a gamble, but it is a guaranteed 5-star. Maybe it's the copy that you need to progress your hero. These ones are discounted rate for them, so you can grab 4 of those. Then after that, it's pretty much what you're missing. I really wouldn't recommend buying 10 of those. It's a bit of a waste. You can grab this because it's free Fire Soul. It's one more Fire Soul for you to be able to get that desired hero that you're after. This is a bit of a waste, not going to lie. Ascension Stones, if you're lacking Ascension Stones, grab that. Grab food, though. Food is very important. Honestly, the event goes for a little while. It goes for another 2 days and 21 hours. At that point, you can either just wait and then just spend the resources after it, knowing how you actually clocked in. I believe you get this from basically just randomly completing stuff, and I'm pretty sure you do get this from... what's this say? I swear there's a little thingy here. Yeah, during the event, idols, chance to drop treasure. So it's idle battles, treasure map redeems. Yeah, so idle battles. So basically, the more you raid, the more that you use idle battles, the more of these you get. Again, another reason why you should be spending your gems to do your mandatory raids every day. But yeah, it is what it is. I personally think Ghost Girl is great, and she definitely fits into my Supernova team. Now, moving along, what else was there to discuss by day number 7? If you are not aware, this is a trap. No jokes, it's not really a trap. But you really shouldn't be wasting too much of your gold trying to level these ones up. Honestly, you're going to get a lot of this legendary gear later on, so... like, again, thus far, I would use it to get the legendary gear, but the purple gear, it doesn't really make too much of a difference. I'm not going to lie. I know a lot of people like to chase that stuff, and that's fine, but just be mindful. I feel like I have I have so many boots. It's like, yeah, it is what it is, right? But eventually the game's going to give you a lot of these orange gears, so just be patient. Don't waste too much of your gold if you don't have to. Even though I just did right there. Another thing is guild activity. Make sure that you are leveling up your guild activity. It gives you additional bonuses and powers. If you don't know what it is, just go to the go button and it'll take you there. And there you go. You can pretty much go from that. Now, I haven't actually invested any of my guild tech. I think I did 2 here for the support. So now we're going to do some level up. So we're at 156,171 battle power. About 2.1 million gold. So we should be in good standing to at least get... I want to say a couple of these ones leveled up. A lot of people ask, do you do it equally? I probably would focus on your support and your main DPS first. Main DPS is a fighter, go with that. If it's a magician, go with that. And then sort of go between the two of them. Occasionally level up your tank if you are running Kuma. It doesn't help, or I should say it doesn't hurt to add a couple in his slot. It is very, very cheap to begin with. So, it's, like I said, it doesn't hurt. But they do get quite expensive. So maybe do a couple of loops here until it starts to get to like 50 or 60 per. And then sort of focus on something that's a little bit more important. I'm going to go up to this one, do another level. And then I think we went through there. And then I'm pretty much just going to focus on the fighters until I run out of gold or resources, whatever happens first. It might stop you at a certain stage and say you need to upgrade the other ones that are corresponding. If it says that, it means if you're a fighter, you need to upgrade the magician so that you can continue ranking up. If you're a tank, it means you have to upgrade support if you want to continue ranking up. But we did get, we got a little bit of battle power out of that. Not a great deal, but at the end of the day, it gives extra crit, extra HP, extra attack, speed, physical damage, and control assists. They're all down here. They're all the statistics. Absolutely worthwhile using. I really wouldn't recommend spending those guild coins unless you're an absolute whale. I wouldn't recommend spending those on anything here in the shop. Just forget about, pretend like it doesn't exist, and just move on from there. As for the arena, this is where it gets a little bit more interesting. You could build Garp. You could build Garp if you don't want to build Granny as a support. I'm not suggesting you should, but you could. It will take a long time to do it. If you did get lucky and pull that first Garp copy, just be aware you can get it from Arena, and you actually can get Garp copies from here as well. Just make sure you're religiously doing this expedition. It's very boring. It does get harder. It will scale against you. Be mindful of that. But you will be eventually able to, at least once a month, be able to get a copy of Garp here. And you should be able to get a copy of Garp from the arena at least once a month too. It's an easy way to get a marine hero. But the pros and cons are, is it really worth your time? Is he really that powerful? Yeah, he is. He's good, but there are better ones, in my opinion. There are better ones like the lady, old late granny. I mean, the game is literally just throwing one of the best healers in the game at you. So go ahead and build that. Now, another place you should probably think about is, like, for me personally, I think I'm going to be focusing on Mate Tyrant Kuma here. At least one copy will be achievable by this time next week after sacrificing enough. I should be able to get this guy to 6-star if I haven't already dropped a copy of him naturally. Otherwise, yeah, there's always the backup plan here. And this is a reason why I kind of recommend building certain heroes. It's just because they're a little bit more accessible than others. So if that makes sense, let me know in the comment section down below. I can always just go over it again. Should you buy anything from this shop? Honestly, if you're a VIP2, grab that every single day. Otherwise, you can always buy a couple of additional ones. I personally would just save the gems. Save the gems. You don't really need to think about them. In here, like I said, it's up to you what you're saving for. But at the same time, there's plenty of opportunities to get ahead. Now, I don't think there's anything else that's realistically demanding my attention. I don't think that there's anything else realistically to cover. But day number 7, let me know how you are in the comment section down below. I'd still recommend pushing this tower every single day, trying to get as far as you can. Don't waste too many gems though, because if you're a free-to-play, there's not really that much of a point. If you're going to throw gems at it and you're not really going to clear it, you make that decision. We'll end it on a high. Let's see if we can roll the dice. Maybe I'll get something decent. I kind of want to waste my gems again. Look, honestly, I'd definitely take that. Hey, all right, okay. Fair enough, fair enough. We might actually have to reroll. I wasn't expecting to get that orange piece of gear. Interesting. There you go. For the video. 1.5 million gemages, or gold, I should say. Can we get another one? No, that's fine. Look, you're going to give me 1.5 million. Oh, do we get it? No, 1.5 million. Damn it, I thought we got it again. Anyway, as I was saying, you can always progress along, and eventually all these things will unlock as well. But that's actually pretty cool. We got some of the red stuff. They just gave us more useless gear, but it's okay. It's okay. They gave me more useless gear. Or should I say, is that really useless? Nah, it's not really useless. Actually, that's something that I should probably mention. It is much better to run red gear sets because red gear sets give you bonuses. So the highest level gear, lowest set. You kind of want to run these attires here. So if you see all of these at 1 star, I mean the star levels don't make it drastic. It's more orange 1 star, orange 1 star, orange 1 star. As you see over here, there's no bonuses. So